Attention passionate Seattle, SEAHAWKS fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Seattle Seahawks' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Seattle Seahawks fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Seattle, SEAHAWKS fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying attention to the NFL over the past few days, you've probably heard some whispers, some rumors that are causing a real buzz around the league, especially among Seahawks fans. That's right, there's talk about a blockbuster trade that could shake things up in the NFC West, a division that's already been competitive, but now, with this move, might become even more unpredictable. And no, I'm not talking about some minor swap. We're talking about a trade that involves one of the league's rising stars on defense, Patrick Surtain from Denver, heading to Seattle. This isn't just some draft pick or a secondary role. This is a game-changing move that could redefine how the Seahawks approach their defense, and ultimately, their entire season. Let's dive into the details, because there's a lot to unpack here. According to sources close to the league, echoing what Adam Schefter has been hinting at, there's a serious possibility that the Seahawks and Broncos are in serious talks. The Broncos, currently sitting at a 2-3 record and firmly in rebuild mode, have some pressing issues on offense, especially with their offensive line. They've allowed 29 sacks so far this season, which is a clear sign that their protection isn't holding up. Their quarterback, Bo Nix, has struggled to find consistency, and the defense, which was supposed to be a strong point, has been leaking points, giving up around 26 points per game. With a cap space of around $12 million, they're looking for options to rebuild and retool for the future. That's where Patrick Surtain comes into play. Drafted in 2021 out of Alabama, Surtain has already established himself as one of the league's premier cornerbacks. He was an All-Pro in both 2022 and 2023, and by 2025, he's been dominating the league with his elite coverage skills. Just last season, he logged 17 solo tackles, which ranks him around 70th among cornerbacks, but what truly makes him stand out are his ball skills and coverage efficiency. He's got 4 pass defenses so far in 2025, ranking him among the top 10 in the league, and he's recorded an interception that's been vital for Denver's secondary. His coverage rating, which measures how well a cornerback covers receivers, is a stellar 70. 2, putting him in the top 7 of the league. And his expected points added per target, which is a measure of how much a defender reduces the offense's success, sits at a very impressive 14 EPA per target, elite stuff. Not to mention his PFF grade of 87. 1, placing him among the top corners in the league, and allowing only 2.9 yards after the catch per reception, which is among the best in the NFL. His ability to limit yards after the catch and his high completion percentage allowed, just 46%, make him a nightmare for offenses. Now, Surtain's skill set isn't just about raw stats. He's a physical, technical, and instinctive defender. His performance in Week 3 against the Kansas City Chiefs was a showcase of his talent: 2 pass defenses, a forced fumble, and a positive EPA per snap. That game, along with his overall career, shows he's a proven playmaker. Since entering the league in 2021, he's amassed a total of 215 tackles, 7 interceptions, and 41 pass defenses. His double team rate is around 26%, which means quarterbacks don't just pick on him. He's often the focal point of the opposing offense's game plan, and he still performs at an elite level. His injury history has been minimal. A hamstring issue in 2025 cost him just 1 game, and his durability has been a key asset for Denver. But why would Denver consider trading away Surtain? Well, the Broncos are in a tricky spot. Their odds of making the playoffs are currently around 9-0-1, according to some betting sites, which is pretty much a long shot. Their offensive line is struggling, allowing 29 sacks, and their offense ranks 27th in yards per game, averaging just 315 yards. They need to rebuild their protection, and that's where the trade for Rick Woolen comes in. Woolen, a rising star for the Seahawks, is seen as a perfect complement to Surtain. The Seahawks, currently with a 3-2 record and sitting in second place in the NFC West, are looking to bolster their secondary after suffering injuries. Devin Witherspoon, their talented corner, is out for 4 weeks with a knee injury, and Julian Love is also dealing with a hamstring issue, making the secondary vulnerable. Adding Surtain to Seattle's defense would be a huge boost. Imagine him lining up outside alongside Woolen, creating a lockdown duo that's practically impenetrable. Surtain's presence would elevate the coverage on the outside, allowing Witherspoon to play more aggressively when he returns, and giving Seattle a much-needed boost in their pass defense. Currently, Seattle is allowing around 220 passing yards per game, but with Surtain, projections suggest that could drop to around 180 yards, a huge improvement. His addition is expected to increase their coverage efficiency by about 21%, which in turn could lead to more turnovers, more sacks, and a defense that's feared across the league. And let's talk about the impact on the Seahawks' overall performance. With Surtain's elite coverage, the team's pass defense could jump from an average of 18th in the league to potentially top 3. That's a game changer. Geno Smith, their quarterback, has been steady but needs help, especially in the passing game where he's thrown around 300 yards with 9 touchdowns so far. The improvement in secondary coverage would give him more time and space to operate, possibly extending possessions and increasing scoring opportunities. Walker, their talented running back, has already gained 450 yards early on, but with a stronger defense and better field position, he could see even more running lanes. The odds for the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl have already shifted significantly. Before, they were at plus 4,000, which was a long shot, but now those odds have shortened to around plus 2,000. They're climbing, and the NFC overall is starting to respect Seattle's potential. The addition of Surtain is seen as a clear signal that the Seahawks are serious contenders. They're positioning themselves not just for a playoff run, but for a deep postseason push, especially if they can leverage this defense to shut down some of the league's best passing attacks. Matchups against teams like the 49ers, known for their deep threats, could be significantly more manageable with a secondary featuring Surtain and Woolen. Now, some analysts are comparing Surtain's potential impact to that of Jalen Ramsey during his peak with the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2017. Ramsey was a shutdown corner, capable of shadowing the best receivers and dictating coverage schemes. If Surtain can elevate his game further with the Seahawks, this secondary could become one of the most feared in the league, especially in the playoffs. And that's a huge factor in why this trade is being viewed as a game changer. It's not just about adding a talented player, but about transforming the entire defensive identity of the Seahawks. The trade also has ripple effects beyond just Seattle and Denver. The Broncos, in a rebuilding phase, are clearly making strategic moves to gather draft capital and acquire young talent. They are betting on the future, even if it means sacrificing a star now for a better position in the draft and a chance to rebuild their roster from the ground up. That's why they're willing to part with Surtain, who, despite his young age, is already considered a cornerstone of Denver's defense. Meanwhile, for the Seahawks, this move signals a clear intention to contend seriously. They've been building a strong roster around Geno Smith, Walker, and a defense that has shown flashes of brilliance. But now, with Surtain's addition, they're taking that final step toward elite status. The coaching staff, led by Pete Carroll, is no stranger to making bold moves, and this potential trade fits perfectly with their philosophy of aggressive, smart football. In the grand scheme of things, this trade could be the turning point that propels the Seahawks back into Super Bowl conversations. The NFC is wide open this year, with teams like the 49ers, Eagles, and Cowboys all vying for top spots, but Seattle's defense could be the edge they need to push through. The shift in odds from plus 4,000 to plus 2,000 reflects that growing confidence, and it's not hard to see why. With a top-tier corner like Surtain, the Seahawks can match up with any offense, especially in critical playoff moments. And now, Seattle Seahawks fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential blockbuster? Do you think Surtain is the missing piece that takes Seattle to the next level? Are you excited about the future of this team with such a defensive upgrade? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Seahawks. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Seattle Seahawks news. We're on this journey together, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for our beloved team. Thanks for being here, and as always, go Seahawks.